So let's talk about OpenAI.
OpenAI just raised another $6.6 billion. And so their valuation is at $157 billion. We already talked about how Sam Altman is trying to move the nonprofit status so it can be a fully for-profit organization. So it just boggles the mind of, is OpenAI to be trusted? OpenAI is just such a good marketing term. It's like, oh, we're open, we're gonna let you know, but they're not. And it's just becoming more and more evident as they get all these massive amount of money. Besides some parlor tricks, is it helping organizations be successful? Yes, individuals, you and I, we play with it, it's fun, but is it really transforming society? The promise. This is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money, with your host, the real Theo Harvey and Mr. Benja. So, Mr. Benja, what's been going on?
Hey man, it's good to see you, Theo, man. It's a good week. As always, we're stepping into Q4, the fourth quarter of the year, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, getting into all the holiday spirits, Christmas, New Year, Kwanzaa. It's all coming. It's going to be here. And there's going to be stuff on Amazon no one's buying. But we got stuff to talk about before we get to all of that, because that's coming. But we got AI to talk about. A lot of AI stuff going on. Big moves are happening. Stuff is happening in big shifts. Stuff's happening in little shifts. We're going to talk about that. Stuff is happening on the ground level, at the corporate level. It's crazy. And we're also going to talk a little bit about celebrities and influencers and just these people around here, these talking heads. Maybe you call us talking heads like that too. I don't know. But we're going to get into that whole scheme in a little bit. And we may, because I know people are looking for it, we may actually mention Diddy one more time after this. We may actually mention him one more time after this. We'll see. But aside from that, man, how was your week?
Man, it was good, man. It was good. I got a chance to watch Dispatches from the AMC movie theater, or just any movie theater in general. I had the opportunity to go see two good movies. One good movie, The Good Robot. Have you heard about that movie?
I've heard of it, have not invested time into seeing what it's about. I heard it was good though.
Yeah, man, it was really good. I saw it with my son and my nephew. Actually, today as we're recording this, I think it came out last week, or it came out around the same time as Transformers One. Remember, I was singing the praises of Transformers One.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, man, this is way better than that. This Good
Oh.
Robot. Yeah, man, it was way better than it needed to be, man. Yeah, it's based on a book that was released. What was it? I think it was in like 2016 or something like that. I'm looking up when it was released. But anyway, so it was based on the book. The director, he actually directed the animated films Lilo and Stitch. He did some work of Disney, Pixar. He's been around for a long time, and this is just another evolution of his game and stuff like that. But man, very powerful story about found family, being a parent, and what that means, what you sacrifice for your kids. So I'm sitting there with my son and my nephew. Luckily, it was 3D glasses on, because I'm sitting here, tears coming down my eyes when you're trying to. I was like, "What is going on, man?" You know, it's movie just hit different, man. When you got kids, man. Back in the day, I could care less. Like, oh yeah, whatever. I watch the kids, who cares? But now, man, it's like anything with a kid in it doing something, and you're like, oh, I'm seen as a parent. They get it.
I love
So yeah, man, my bona fides are watching movies in the dark with tears in my eyes, man. It is what it is.
I
But
love
yeah,
I
Good Robot.
respect that. I respect
Thank
that.
you. Yeah. So I highly recommend it. Great story based on the book, but the movie is great. So definitely go check that out. The other movie, not so much.
Uh-oh.
You heard about this little movie, The Joker? It's part 2, but they call it, what's the French word? I forgot how they pronounce it. I'm not French, man. Folie à deux. I think that's how they pronounce it. Folie à deux, that just came out.
What? Folie à deux? Folie à deux. Well,
There it is. We got our podcast title.
Joker
Folie
2.
à deux.
Folie à deux. Filet of
You must have heard about this thing. You must have heard about this.
nothing good.
Look, yeah, no spoilers, but man, how do you go from $1 billion franchise to Oscars to this? It's just mind-boggling of what the total misrepresentation of what this movie was about. I don't know what happened here. Maybe we'll do a deeper dive sometime about what's really going on here, but it does seem like there was just something missing here. and it totally missed the mark. So there's nothing compelling. Everything that made the first one compelling that shouldn't have worked, and it all worked. I think we talked about it on this
Mhm.
podcast. Maybe we did or did not. I can't recall, but it had all these elements. It was like gritty world story set in comic book world where you actually have Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne. It was basically about the Joker, but it's also about people being mistreated, mental illness. It was just a lot of things, and it became this firebrand of basically a training manual for incels and things like that. And there was a lot of backlash to it. And so I think the director got scared and just, no, that's not what this movie's about. It's not a hero worship movie for the downtrodden who takes over and becomes a symbol. No, this is really about a sad man. And so I think he went too far on the other end for this part two, and it's just
Mm.
does not work well. And the whole musical aspect of it all is just lays flat as well. So it's just, what are you doing, man? How do you go from $1 billion to this? It just boggles the mind.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how. See, once I heard musical, I was like, "Oh Lord, what's going on?" And
That intrigued me though. That intrigued me. It could work, right? It could work.
exactly, stuff could work, but then it's just you said it seemed like you went too far in the other direction. I was wondering if that was a bit of a, "Hey, I really have to separate myself from some of those accusations, so I'm gonna do something crazy. What about a musical? Yeah, I'll do that." I've
That could
seen that
be
kind
it.
of thinking happen where somebody steps in a room, "Guys, people are saying this. We should change this." The game really isn't about that, dude, or the project isn't really doing that. It's just a couple people talking. Calm down. No, we're gonna change. We're gonna go this way. And we're like,
This is interesting. As an artist, they always say this, it's created two times in your mind and then when it's out in the market, right? And so
yeah,
in his mind, he created something, but the market clearly was the market wanted this because they made $1 billion. Let's not
right.
forget that. So the market, what he created was what they wanted. So now, as an artist, how do you feel about that when you create something and you had one direction you thought about, but then the market accepted a different way? Do you rebel against it, or do you just understand it? Say, there was something here that maybe I still need to address more of, or did I say screw what they said? I don't care what the market said. I'm gonna go my own direction.
Yeah. So when you're putting something out, ideally, a work of art is simply you or an artist that one or many people, an artist direction channeling thoughts, feelings, ideas, concerns of a certain segment of the population. And when you sit down and watch it, you're either connected to that or you can relate to it or you understand it. You're like, hey, this is a representation of some type of feeling, thought, or whatever. It could be something stupid like Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, this is channeling all these stupid thoughts I had and all this toilet humor. It channels that. So when you put something out there and you think it's going to do one thing, but it seems to channel a whole nother vibe, that can be damaging to the artist's ego. That's why you shouldn't attach yourself like that to, I have a message, I'm going to put this message out. I'm going to say this with my art. I think it serves art better to just say, hey, listen, I put something out there. It wasn't taken as I meant it to be taken. I have this personal stance, but whatever, I'm going to express something else later. So do you double down on it or not? You make it worse when you try to fix your message.
Mm, I
I
like that.
think you always try to make it worse when you quote unquote fix the message because the message shouldn't have been what led with it anyway. It's just your expression.
I like that. That's a good way to say it. Just lead with your expression. You created something that was compelling. It shouldn't have worked, let's be honest, but
Yeah.
it was almost like a character study of what kind of makes a supervillain.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And it was compelling and it was grounded in real world, but also had those elements of superhero stuff in there with
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne and all that. So it was a lot of stuff going on and it shouldn't have worked, but it did. And so now they just went totally opposite, using same characters. There was no secret that Lady Gaga's playing basically Harley Quinn,
Yeah.
Quinzel, if you want to be right, correct. And yeah, and then there's Two Face in there. Let's be honest, Harvey Dent. So there's no spoilers in there. So there you go. So it's still Gotham. So it's just what are we doing here, man?
Yeah.
So man, it's just crazy, man. I just thought about man, Batman, man. That is amazing how that that mythos around Batman as a comic book can stretch so far. It's they always have at least 3 or 4 different stories at the same time. Either
Yeah,
they had one time they had Gotham on television, basically just telling about a younger Batman while Gordon was rising through the ranks. It was
yeah,
pretty decent. I watched a
and
couple
we got to see a lot of
episodes.
the city too. I like that.
Yeah, that was good. One time we had trilogy, the Chris Nolan trilogy, which was
Mhm.
amazing. That was going on at the same time. Then they switched quickly over to this new The Batman with Robert Pattinson's take, which was pretty quick. It basically turned over what a couple years after The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it's just and then TV shows and don't forget all the movie animation that's about Batman. So, just amazing to me how changeable this the Batman mythos of all the comic book heroes. He just resilient, man. It's just like they can tell and they can tell so many stories where Batman never even appears. It's just like
yeah,
crazy. They got a Sopranos version of Batman called the Penguin out right now. This is like what is going on? So this is crazy, man. Crazy time that we live in. So yeah, anyway, Joker 2 or Joker Folie Do is not that good. So that was my 2 things this week. But Mr. Benj, I did want to bring something up before you get into yours. Did you we didn't talk about
relates to
this on the
mine.
pod.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this in our show notes before the before show. Maybe we'll talk about the before show because after parties, we can't talk about after parties anymore.
Oh,
I think,
right.
those are done. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Mr. Benja, I sent you that Benjamin Hardy. He has his Q4 prep for 2025. And I think I told you I did that last year.
Mhm.
Actually, what are your thoughts about that? I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. It's actually at a discount to what I paid for, but I
Yeah.
think I told you how I thought it was amazing opportunity to just be in that environment, be immersed in what he's talking about when he talks about rapid transformation and getting yourself prepared for 2024. And it really helped shape my business. And really, yeah, be honest with you, I'm thinking back, I think that was really instrumental in some of the things I did to be successful for this year. I don't know. Have you thought about that or thinking about something like I know you're a Benjamin Hardy advocate, but I know that those masterminds and those things are not something that you really enjoy
Well, no,
or
I don't know about that.
participate in.
Yeah, it's cool, but for some reason with what I've seen of his, I don't know if it's for me. If it was somebody else doing a certain thing, I don't know that it'd be for me. Basically, I think that with his materials, I just need more practice in being that type of thing as opposed to understanding it. Because as I said, I noticed parts of what he was saying. I'm like, oh yeah, that's from willpower doesn't work. Oh yeah, that's from this and this. So I think I have the information pieces there. I just need to actually practice it. No, that was one of my notes because you did get me thinking about that. I don't know if Rian Doris.
Mm-mm.
So Rian Doris is the guy who bought consulting.com from Sam Ovens when Sam Ovens
Mhm,
went to do school.com.
mhm,
So Rian Doris is also a very super focused kind of flow guy. And I was realizing that for the type of work that I'm trying to do, namely this book right now, is that I needed to get into certain flow states and they were just all over the place. Like they'd show up randomly. It'd be 9:30 at night and all of a sudden I'm like, I got to do it. And then spend 5 hours writing and then whatever. He has this whole thing called the flow state. I don't want to call it university or whatever, but he's got this whole thing going on. And I've gone down this aspect of it because now I'm like, all right, I know what the 20% is, know what the 4% is. How do I adjust to actually capitalize on that 20%, that 4%, that 0.8%, whatever? And where I was struggling wasn't in what Dr. Hardy was saying, it was in actualizing it. So that's why I've fallen over to this for the very near term. No, that's
like I
my
said, no judgment. I'm just I just know and I get it. Look, a lot of these masterminds, yeah, sometimes is it worth the squeeze, right? You know, what you pay for, are you getting what you're out of it? And I think it's just like anything. You get
mhm,
what you put in more and then you get more out of it. And yeah, you pay money just to pay attention, to be honest with you. If it was free, you probably wouldn't do all the diligent work. But when I did pay for it last year, I felt like it helped me refocus some things. And I still use some of the techniques and stuff. One of the things I struggle with, quite frankly, is just the acceleration. He talks about what pathways, partnerships, so you can get to your meet your what 10-year goals in a year or your 10-year goals in 90 days. I still struggle with that partnership aspect, right? It's just I had this conversation with this other group I'm part of. We do like just this men's group, Christian men's group. We get together every so often. And I told them about like how to evaluate how to trust people because when you run a business, you're always dealing with folks. They may not tell you everything the right way, or they may not, they say they're gonna do something they don't. So you just can't take stock in what people say a lot of times. And
Right.
so I said, hey, I have a mnemonic I come up with called HIT. I said,
Uh-oh.
so basically, yeah. So first you look at the history, right? So, okay, what did they do before? Are they credible? Look at their website, see, talk to other people, talk about the history. Intuition, what is your gut telling you about them? If you hang out with them, it's, wait a minute, we had coffee. He even offered me a cup of coffee. He didn't pay for it. It's only $2. So it's just, but just little stuff. You get that gut feeling about
Sure, yeah,
people.
your instinct.
And then T is talent. Is this guy really talented at what they say they can do? You can see that. It'll be evident in some of the work they produce. And so I use that as a mnemonic, a healthy mnemonic to help me figure
Yeah.
out if I can trust somebody. And then sometimes that I struggle with that those partnerships because a lot of times they just fail to and you don't say anything. You just it is what it is.
Alright,
But as long as I have that filter, I don't get bitter.
alright, I'll put you on the spot here. I need a 60-second announcement of the 3 steps of HIT, what they mean, and how they can help you in your business. Go.
Ooh. The hit process, man. Look, hey, man, the games to be sold, not told. Hey, if y'all want my manual, it's gonna be 9.99 coming soon. Yeah. So, anyways, just because that partnership aspect, I do agree. You can get the right partner because sometimes people say they don't trust people, but then that limits your business growth, right? Or that
Mhm.
limits your opportunities. So, it's you have to trust people, but then how do you create an environment where you can trust more people on those things that you need help with so you can accelerate faster? And so
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'm learning to do more of because I agree. I think we have to figure out how to get those partnerships so you can, get where you need to go a little bit faster. And that's
Yeah,
what
and
sometimes
that's
I've
the who,
struggled
not
with.
how part.
Yeah, exactly. Cause you'll try to do it yourself and you always struggle, always.
Right, right.
So anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to know what your thoughts on Dr. Benjamin Hardy's masterminds. Yeah, man. What else you got going on?
Yeah, but to let you know what actually got me into that flow thing, we were talking about just people, society a little while ago, and I was walking down the street to my little convenience store, go to pick up some. They have these little toffee peanuts. They're great. Anyway, so I'm going down to the little convenience store, and this guy is just struggling to get this desk inside the back of his truck. And without breaking stride, I didn't do this. Like I didn't stop and say, "Hey, that guy needs help. Maybe I should help him. Do I have time?" I didn't do any of that. I just immediately jumped off the curb or jumped off the sidewalk over the curb and was like, "Hey, let me help you with that." He was like, "Hey," then we picked it up, put it in. Have a good day, and just kept walking. I was so in the zone of just getting stuff done in that mindset, just like, "Hey, man, gotta go, gotta get stuff done, be productive. This guy needs production help. Let's go and keep going." And after I did that, I got to thinking, I was like, wow, I was so in the mode of just flowing and doing stuff that I didn't even stop to think, who is this guy? Or I would have helped him anyway, but there was no conscious stopping or thought at all. And I was just like, you know what? That was a good little flow moment. What I need to work on is my flow. So I'm not like constantly second guessing, constantly wondering, hey, did somebody message me? And I was realizing that was throwing off my work quite a bit. That's what got me into the whole flow thing. And for the entirety of this week, I've been reevaluating a lot. And it's been pretty darn good. As I said, I ended up tracking myself back down to this Ryan Doris guy. And yeah, it's all in line with like what a lot of other people say, Benjamin Hardy and whatnot. But it's just actually practicing that flow state. So I can stop, do what I have to do, get in the zone, do my little rituals, and then just go about my business.
I love it, man. When you say get in the zone, I think about that AutoZone commercial. Get in the zone, AutoZone. I don't know if you remember those commercials, but anyway, I just thought about that. It's just, and I love it, man. I would love to. I just question the flow state. I love the flow state too, because I get up in the morning, I do a lot of work, and literally, I do most of my best thinking in the morning. Sometimes I'll be tired at night, so I just get up in the morning. and I knock out 8 hours of work in 2 hours, and I love it. And then I already have my emails banked. I just sit around. So I send it now. Send it to people. Boom, 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 boom. See
Yeah.
what's going out. And my team members is like, oh, what is all this? It's like, because I'm ready. I already thought about your job before you even thought about it. But anyways, so yeah, I'm one of those guys that just I have my best thinking in the morning. I just get my best writing done in the morning and all that. And I agree, that flow state is just I don't know how long you can sustain it. I guess is one of those things. That's what they I guess what they were talking about is we talked about this. I can't remember his name right now, but he talked about this is you if you can do more what you're good at more and more every day and just focus on that, you'll probably make all the money in the world. So it's just like I
Yeah.
think that flow state is helping you get into that who you're meant to do, what you're meant to focus in on. So if you
Yeah.
can do more of that instead of just 2 hours, can you do it for 4 hours? Can you do it for 5 hours? Can you do it for 6 hours? And everything else you can just delegate or outsource or whatever, then that's where you'll be in your ultimate flow state. And so that's my vision. If I can just get more of that time, then I'll
Yes.
be happy.
Exactly. And this takes me back to when I've run into very high functioning people, and there are certain things that just either bounce right off of them or phase right through them. Like someone yells, "Move your car, you fat," and they're just like, "So anyway, we did this and that," and you're like, "Wait, that didn't even get a response." It's, "Nah, man, I got a conference to." It's just so becoming more of what you should be. Maybe that's part of it, but yeah, it's a whole awesome thing, and I love it. So, Slipstream Time Hacking by Benjamin Hardy. That touches on that a little bit too. It's yeah, when you're in the flow and you're in the zone, you'll look up and it's 2:30 in the morning. You're like, "Holy crap, I've been doing this for hours now, and I should have gone to bed," and
That
intentionally doing
energy's
that.
but that energy's crackling, boy, you don't wanna slap that energy, I love it.
Yeah, it's maker
It
time and manager time too.
yeah, good point. It's not just him, I think it was the guy from one of those accelerators, he said it first, maker versus manager time, and Hormozy,
Yeah, it
he
wasn't.
gotta
Yeah, it
give him
didn't come
credit.
from him.
Yeah, but I also seen, like, flow sometimes flow is not just the time period, but also the task. So sometimes I'm like, "I gotta do this other task, but you know what? This other task is more compelling right now. So let me just do that task now." And so I've done that before. It's, forget this other task. I'm just gonna get this cracked out." But yeah, I love it, man. It's fun stuff, man. Yeah. But I
Hey,
question but look,
yeah,
man, I know we're
yeah,
going
let's
deep
go,
on
let's
this
go.
one, but
Yeah,
this is good. This is good. But I question so one of the things I'm struggling with now is, man, I'm working, it's great. I'm doing stuff. I'm like, man, I'm struggling to trying to find like where's the fun time. I'm just like, look, I'm a dad, a husband, working, and I enjoy all those roles. But so I'm like, man, but what I gotta do for fun? So what kind of hobby can I do for fun? Do I like golfing? Do I like biking? So I'm struggling. What is that fun time? Well, this is fun to me, right? We're doing a
mhm,
podcast, right? But I'm just like, I'm struggling to find those other things that kind of give me more relaxation. Yes, I watch movies, play a little chess now, watch YouTube channels, but I'm like, I need to find another kind of outlet. And that's what I'm struggling with now. Give me that sense. And I prefer to be something in the athletic vein so I can, because the studies have shown the social fitness aspects of your life give you longevity. And so that's
yeah.
the thing I need to find next. So that's what I'm next for me.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Part of that I classify in the category of dumb shit, where it's just I need where you don't there's no excuse for it. You're just like, "Hey, there's some dumb shit I like to do. We're doing it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
part of my thing." Wait, like your boy, yeah, you told me last week. You mentioned this a long time ago, decades ago even, where you had a friend who got up and he had to play his video game every day before school. That
Yeah.
that stuck with me because, as I said last week, there's this little game. I just get up and click, make sure everybody's got their money. It's a little tycoon game, cool, and go about my business during the day. But that gets me up better than my alarm. Screw my alarm, screw responsibilities. Hey, I got to get the train so I get the level up and get my daily bonus in this game. Then I'm good. It takes 5 minutes and I'm great.
That's all it takes, man. It's simple stuff like that gets you going, get the juices flowing. I agree, man. It's just like finding those things. And yeah, I have it in certain aspects, but I'm trying to find more of those little pockets so I can really be in that flow state because the more of that relaxation thing I do, then the more of the flow state I can stay in. So anyway, so that's some of the things I'm, trying to figure out as well.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Speaking of relaxation, Batman, the Cape Crusader, has become my for now. This changes. at night when I just don't wanna think about too much and I'm trying not to poison my mind. I don't wanna program my mind late at night to think positive thoughts and do all this. Sometimes that messes me up for the morning. So I'm like, "You know what? I just turn on Batman, watch the Caped Crusader go beat some fools up and outsmart somebody," and then I'm like, "Yeah, world is good." And then I turn it off, and I'm aces. I go to bed, and I wake up great.
Yeah, man, I love it. So this is the new Batman Cape Crusader. This is the Amazon TV
Yes.
show. Animated version from the same Paul Dini, I think, the guy who created the original Batman the animated series years ago when we were in high school. And
Yeah.
so he's come back to the animated form, but reimagine Gotham like we've never seen it before. Got some blowback. I think Penguin is a female now. Yeah, they got a lot of people of color now. Barbara Gordon is a woman of color. So it's just, and it's also in a 40s noir. It's like they wear the fashions of 1940s and 19 late 1940s, that
Yeah.
whole film noir. So it got some blowback a little bit, but yeah, what do you think of it? How many episodes have you seen? I think the last episode I saw, I need to get back into it. I'm trying to look at the episode count. But I think I saw the Harley Quinn episode. That was the last one I saw. I need to get back into it. But how many episodes have you seen and what do you like about it?
I've seen up to the Catwoman episode.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
I
only
saw
like
that.
the 3rd one,
Yeah.
but I like it, but 1, I don't think it has any bite. It's just a
Mhm.
show. There's no bite to it, like, at no moment was I like, "Ooh." It's just like, "Alright, Batman, do your thing."
Let me ask you a
Like,
question. Was the anime series did it have bite?
yes. I went back and watched the Clayface episode. I went back and watched the Mr. Freeze episode. By the way, they're looking into making a Mr. Freeze solo movie. Could be interesting. We'll see what James Gunn does with that. But it's got it yeah, it that had bite. It still has a little bite to it. These episodes, it's stuff is just
Yeah.
happening. Let me introduce a character that we already know. There's no tension in terms of the character and Batman and his morals. It's just act 1, act 2, act 3, roll credits.
Like I said, we gotta both watch the
I
series
played
all the way to the end.
yeah.
So maybe they have more tension. I agree. I think it does seem a little rote. He meets Catwoman. He gonna do what he does. Batman's just like there. I don't even think we see Bruce Wayne at all. I don't know. I haven't seen all the whole series, but I don't. Oh, I take that lie back. He does show up a couple times,
Yeah,
especially in the
the
Harley
Harley
Quinn episode. Yeah.
yeah.
So he's gonna show up, but it's just you're right. But you're right that the anime series has some. Also, we were younger, but yeah, bite. I think they're the ones that introduced Mr. Freeze, Nora, his wife. That was did she die or something, or she got frozen? I can't remember. But he
Yeah,
always had that a little ice thing or whatever about her. She was a ballerina, and that was the
yeah,
reason why he became Mr. Freeze or something like that. And I thought that, or Clayface, we knew what was his motivation to be this crazy guy. So yeah, I agree. It's got some moments in there, man. Real
yeah,
talk. I think I
I
go ahead. Sorry.
His relationship with Alfred, that's the tension, that has some bite to it because when they disagree, you're, "Ooh, oh, mm, wow, he said that to Alfred," or "Alfred said that to him," or, "Ooh, he threw that in his face." It's a little,
Mhm.
"You need to listen to your uncle" kinda thing, but I like
Yeah,
it.
this is I think the Cape Crusade is also like that. They always say year 1, year 0, Batman, year 1, year 2. It's like that year 2. And to me, Batman is like year 1 is all about the crime bosses. There weren't no bunch of crazy rogues gallery in year 1, really. Yeah. Did you ever read that one, The Long Halloween? Did you ever read that series?
I think I did, and
Penguin is based the TV show The Penguin is based on that a little bit,
okay,
with the Falcons and all that, and what's the, Saboteurs? I think that's the mob boss fighting that's happening in the Penguin mob series now. So there was that moment where Batman was just like over stopping crime from the mobs side of things, and then that's like the year 1, year 2 stories, right? And then finally he gets into the Joker, and that's like full on crazy stuff, right? Coming at you. You the Joker just
James, that one.
yes, you got it. The Joker just cracking up. But I had the chance. Did you ever watch the show Gotham at all?
Yeah, I liked it.
Did you watch the whole series or you watch bits and pieces?
I want to say I got to the last season and somehow I changed providers or something and didn't get it anymore.
Yeah, so I got back into it just to, I don't know what made me get it. Oh, they had it was like 10-year anniversary or something like that. And they did a not moral, but a oral history of the Gotham series. And so I started watching the beginning again. Then I just fast forward to the end. Actually pretty decent, man. What got me the most was, man, the guy who plays the Joker, man, that guy was awesome. I don't know who he was just unknown, but he had that right motivation. He knew what the assignment was. It was just this over the top performance. He started low level, if you remember, in the TV show. When you watch the last season, he's basically Joker. Let's be honest. He's just like
Yeah,
full blown out there. And the guy that played the Riddler, those two, man, they were just like they made the show. The Batman
Riddler did it
piece,
for me.
yeah, yeah, the Riddler guy. They just played these over the top kind of characters, proto, what they call proto when people before they become fully formed, proto Riddler and proto Penguin always fighting and bickering.
Yeah, yeah,
But they did like hardcore stories. They brought Bane back. Instead of Bane breaking Batman's back he broke
I
the
remember this.
butler. He broke
Oh,
back Alfred's
yeah,
back. It was hilarious because Batman was still a
yeah,
kid.
yeah. That was
So
weird.
it was hilarious. Yeah, so it's just little and then they did all the classic Batman Rose Gallery. They had Oswald Ghul show up. They had Proto Joker. He didn't really become the Joker, but he was the Joker. And they winked at you. They had it was just hilarious how they put all these storylines in there.
Yeah,
And then wait a minute, the last episode, I just want to say this. So everything, everybody's just having a good time, whatever. And then 10 years later, Bruce is back. We never see Bruce. We don't know what, but we just see the Riddler and everybody getting captured by this guy with batarang and hanging upside down. We see the Joker get, awoken from his coma all of a sudden, like he's Batman's back. I gotta get back into the action.
yeah,
And at the very last scene, they show a CGI Batman standing on the ledge.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the end.
yeah. See, it started going off the rails. I think it was going good and solid because I think it had vibes of The Wire and Oz kind of tossed in there.
Mhm.
And at some point, they're like, "Hey, we can get crazy, we can get wacky, and we can get Jada Pinkett Smith." And I was just like, "Wait, hold on, what are we doing?" And it started getting weird, and then I think they didn't play the weird part, like Solomon
Mm.
Grundy.
Oh, he showed up? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't see all that.
Yeah, it just got weird when that started
And
happening.
then it did, yeah, see, Batman's always been around because you remember Smallville, they had a character, his name was like something Knight. Did you remember that at all? Did you watch Smallville to that level?
I don't remember Night.
Yeah, there was a character, and it was basically a Batman because they did all the classic ones in Smallville, right? They had Brainiac show up, they
Mhm.
had obviously Lex Luthor was in it,
Yeah,
but they had this character. They couldn't say Batman, they could say Bruce Wayne, but he was a character. I can't remember his name in the Smallville, but I'll look it up. But it was hilarious, man. So they do all these things just to get you hyped up on Batman again for some reason. So anyway, make a long
yeah,
story short, man, Batman's just one of those characters that's just gonna be around. So I think we're both gonna maybe we'll do a check in a couple of weeks and see if we both like Batman Cape Crusader at the end. So I'm gonna try to watch the rest of it and maybe we'll catch up and see what we like about it or don't.
yeah, yeah. I got it. As I said, I watch a episode a night. How many episodes are there? I'll watch them.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it out in a week. But you know what? I have no good segue into this. So let's talk about OpenAI. You brought me some stuff. I have no segue into that. I was just like, wow, let's just, you were talking about AI. AI is all over the place. What's going on with OpenAI?
What is it? The news is crazy over there, man. We already talked about how they're pretty much all these executives of leaving CFO, but at the same time, OpenAI just basically raised another $6.6 billion. And so their valuations at 157 billion, which is crazy, man. This is just still private company that's just taking over. And then we already talked about how it was Sam Altman is trying to make it go move the status, the nonprofit status, so it can be a fully for-profit organization. So it just boggles the mind of is OpenAI to be trusted? I think they need the OpenAI is just such a good marketing term. It's like, oh, we're open, we're gonna let you know, but they're not, and it's just becoming more and more evident as they get all these massive amount of money. But I think I saw this in the information. It's like a weekly technology newsletter that comes out every so often. And they talked about that 6.6 billion won't get OpenAI to where it wants to go. It says, yes, it helps and that people want to invest. So it was oversubscribed around, but they probably need to go public sooner than later. And they said because that's where they can really make the money they need to be successful. Because I think we talked about this, creating these algorithms, or excuse me, these faster versions. I think they released a new reasoning version for Chat GPT. It takes a lot of processing power, and these microchips ain't cheap.
Right.
And so OpenAI is realizing that. And I think Sam Altman is realizing that when he's talking about investing trillions of dollars in chip manufacturing, right, over time. So yeah, man, this is crazy, man, how much it's spending and doing what it needs to do to be successful in this AI model phase. But our question AI and where it's at right now, it's been what, almost 2 years, right? When
Mhm.
which was that 2021 or 2022 when ChatGPT got announced? I think it was like end of November. Have we besides some parlor tricks, is it
Ooh.
helping organization is it helping organizations really be successful? That's why my question. Yes, individuals, you and I, we play with it, it's fun, do stuff with it, but is it really transforming society, the promise?
I still hold my previous statement. I think, yes, it is, but in a more subtle, on the ground kind of way. You're People talk about what it's done to the game industry. It's instead of having concept artists spend a week, you get 3 of your top guys, you're paying them 6 figures, and set them aside for a week to do research, a week to do some comps, a third week to do some revisions and explanations, and then a fourth week to do finals. It's like I could have 2 producers who are good at prompting, pay them less, sit them in a room and say, "Hey, come up with a bunch of concepts and send me the best ones you can find today." And before the end of the day, you've got a they're sitting in a folder and you can respond back like, "Hey, I like these and these." It may not get you the what you want exactly, but that speed, that little way of doing things is just going to work out faster for a lot of these organizations. And not like an organizational tool, but you just saved 3 months of time or a month of time and turned it into 3 days basically. And I think that's how you're gonna see the change, and that's been documented. It's happened to companies already. So, as I said, the game that I wake up to play in the morning, it's got AI art in it. I'm like, "Alright,
So I call cap on some of that. So
okay."
this is where the verses comes in. So I had a chance. You heard of Ethan Mollick?
No.
He goes on Twitter. He's a professor of management at Wharton. Writes a lot about AI, what's it can or can't do, and he's a proponent of it, a proponent of AI, and really goes all in on it. But he said on his latest newsletter is like the AI in organizations just not to that level yet. Because individually, yes, it helps us be more productive, but there's a couple things happening from individual standpoint. Number one, either you don't want the organization to know that you use AI because either they're gonna be questioning if you're needed because they're like,
Yeah.
why are you using AI to be more productive? Number two, they're like, we got all these other ways to do AI. Why are you using it that way? Number three, the performance metrics gonna go up because oh, so you're not better. So we're just gonna make the bar higher. So there's this premise of what they call secret cyborgs, where people are experimenting with AI and finding it very useful, but they're not sharing the results with their employers. And I think that's the
Hmm.
challenge of if I have an organization, I'm sure some of my employees probably use AI, but they would never say to write emails to do this stuff,
Yeah.
but they would never tell me. And so it's like, how do we get that learning to an organizational level so we can make a system around it, standard operating procedure so everyone uses the same way so it can scale faster. And so I think that's the argument with AI right now, where we got these secret cyborgs running around doing all these things. And then the other argument is, okay, so if you try to do the open source and have people experiment with AI individually, it's hard to bubble up. And then you talk about the lab format where you actually have a specialized lab to do that. You need people to fill that lab, but you don't know what people to fill it with because your employees don't tell you that they're using AI. So it's a struggle to get it in that organization level because that's the only way it's going to be truly transformational for companies, in my opinion. But to your point, I think the other argument is like maybe organizations will change in the future. Instead of needing hundreds of employees to run $1 billion enterprise, maybe you just need two: a CEO and a assistant, and you have all these AI agents and the AI bots running the business for you. So I don't know.
So
Like I said,
have we heard anything on how companies I don't disagree with any of that, by the way, but it's just not where I'm thinking about. So I'm wondering have you heard any news about, like, how the new Microsoft Office, how people are taking that? I know there's what is that? You sent me the one Notebook LM by Google. I can probably explain that in a second. So how are these tools getting accepted? What's the word on there? How people are liking and enjoying, and what's the feedback on some of these tools?
I can't really speak to like other organizations because, again, I don't think it's like organizational structure and operations is almost like trade secrets. And so people don't want to let, especially if you work in the industry, they don't want to let you know what they're doing per se. But it's all the general stuff. And it's really marketing spin at this point. Like, how do we create these AI agents to make you more productive? Fine. But what does that even really mean? So the way I'm seeing it practically, if I go to Google right now, you've seen it. There's a little star at the right hand side. It says, "Hey, do you need help?" It's like Clippy. Remember Clippy back in the day that would pop
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
just say, "You need some help?" This is what I feel like AI is just like, here, right in the corner, right here. You want to do some
Uh-huh.
AI? Nah, I'm good. And then yeah, so it's like that. I got a CRM. I use HubSpot. They just announced something. They send me emails. Hey, try it out. What does it hurt? You can be the first one to try it. It's almost a desperation to get me to want to use AI. It's come on, guys. Is this what we're doing now? So to your point, I wouldn't say I don't know understand too well if there is organizations that have understood this well enough to say this is what we do. But I will say what I'm seeing, if you just go by what how people are trying to sell it, obviously they're doing big marketing spend and then they're really trying to push it down your throat to make it useful, and I don't think that's ever works. It is almost organizational level. I don't think that's going to operationalize well too well. So that's my challenge with AI. I just don't see it working as well from an organizational level unless now, like you said, this LM thing that I thought was pretty interesting. But again, that's like more of a productivity individual level to understand knowledge better.
Mhm.
So if you didn't hear about this, Google has this thing called Google Notebook, LM, and basically you can upload PDF, real technical documents, anything that you're trying to understand and learn from. You upload the document and it can create like study guides for you, outlines for this document that's really a couple hundred pages to read to understand. But the piece de resistance is they create a podcast where they actually have a male voice and a female voice, AI voice, that go back and forth discussing this document as if it was a podcast. It's about the one I uploaded right before this podcast. It was like a couple hundred pages, about 100 to about 200 pages. They did a 12-minute podcast and I was listening to it. Fascinating. It was just like, okay, they do a high level and they try to get down deeper and deeper, but gives you enough to do those high level headlines when you're talking to somebody,
Yeah.
like you read it. And then they ask you, like, did you reach page 22? I'll get back to you. But it's fascinating. So that I think that is something, and that's productivity, right? If you can really, we live in information age, if you can assimilate loads of documents and tech documents and information quickly, I think AI can help with that. Now, how you operationalize an organization, I think that could be a challenge, right? Because if
Mhm.
people have that capability, you think they're gonna let their boss know? If they can get through something, the boss said, "Hey, you got a week, end of the week to get this done." You put in AI, get it done in an hour. You write it up, and you sit till Friday. You did that on Monday. You don't got
Yeah.
nothing to do till Friday. Why would you tell your boss that you got it done on Monday?
I think that's just that to me, that just sounds like old school hanging on. Because once somebody figures you out or goes, "Hey, we got this guy, Josh over here. We contacted him via email. He sent us back a prototype in an hour. How come you didn't send one back?" And it's, "Damn it, Josh, I know that guy."
But okay, let's talk about this game theory, right? So, prisoner's dilemma, right? You remember, the prisoner's dilemma, right? You got two
Yes.
people. Well, who's
You
going to drop a dime first?
sell out your
So, you're
friend
right.
or not.
Yeah, sell your friend or not. And so, obviously, you should sell out your friend, and you guys both collaborate without collaborating. I think that's what's going on in corporate America. So they say it's due Friday, right?
Mhm.
So Josh may do it Thursday night. You may do Thursday afternoon, but you both got it done on Monday. Nobody's sending it on Tuesday because they know it's like if
No.
we send on Tuesday, people gonna
Yeah.
know we use the AI to get this done.
Yeah. I'm saying the company went to Josh outside of the company. They outsourced to Josh and called him up,
Oh,
and Josh is, "I'll have this to you Tuesday," and you're still sitting around twiddling your thumbs until Thursday, and they're like, "What the hell's wrong with that guy?"
but guess what? Josh is gonna charge you 10 times what it costs your internal employee to do it. So he's gonna say, "Yes, I got it to you fast because you paid me 10x what you would have paid your internal guy to do it." So it's a consulting engagement at that point,
Ah,
right?
I see.
So it did. So you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. I paid more, I got it back faster.
So here's what I'm noticing and that I have noticed in some of these AI pitches. Companies are pitching to other companies, "Hey, listen, we've got this one thing figured out. Your supply chain, your logistics, your payroll or whatever. And it's AI powered and all this. And they're presenting themselves as, hey, we have this entire package of knowledge and, you know, it does logistics. So you can get all your boxes around the world faster. DHL, Caterpillar. Who else was that I was looking up? They were saying they were going heavy in AI and seeing all the results. I'm down here in Long Beach area, the shipping docks, they're talking about, hey, we can optimize this whole thing with AI. Somebody is going to come put together a package and you won't even have to wait until your prisoners are having this dilemma with each other. You're going to have some other fool saying, hey, listen, you're trying to get information from the prisoners. I've actually got security cam footage, so their testimony's null and void anyway. You can send them both to the chair for all I care.
So you're saying somebody's gonna come up with this ultimate package that just makes it
Uh,
irrelevant, whether
I'm not s-
Josh or the consultant.
ultimate. Yes. Okay. Ultimate. We'll
Yes.
call it the ultimate package.
The ultimate package. That sounds like some UFC wrestler. The ultimate AI package. Generative AI. I'm coming for you. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. AI is interesting right now. Look, we're using our marketing spin. We just announced some new stuff around remote care as a service, and we're talking about the AI we use, and we do. And so it's just one of those things where it's just you have to put that sprinkle. We talk about that salt bay, right? Sprinkle that salt on it, the AI salt on it, just to tantalize people because people see it's coming. But I think the use cases are still few and far between. I think some productivity games, I think definitely with understanding knowledge faster and it makes it easier for information workers to work better, communicate better because you can use AI to help you with that. Maybe code better, right? Because it can help you learn coding faster and get things out faster. I'm trying to think other use cases. Some people said brainstorming. I haven't used it to that level. I think you said you've used it more on that. It can help
Yeah.
you think better.
I came up with I have this thing where I do 100 ideas. I'll just brainstorm until I get 100 of something. 100
Mhm.
characters, 100 story treatments, 100 whatever. Names for a company or whatever. I'll just come up with at least 100. A lot of them are crap. I'll take this 100 and throw them into it and say, "Hey, listen, what do these appear?" I just ask it more questions. Am I missing anything? Do you see any trends here in this? Yeah, I noticed you did a lot of blah blah blah. Maybe you should look more into it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's giving me feedback on my own thoughts. So it's instead of having a room full of designers to talk to, like I used to have when I was at work, we would just stand up and talk with each other about, have you seen this? Or what about this? Now AI does it for me. They're like, hey, you know what? There's a similar character to Batman done by the Valiant series called Shadow Man.
Mm.
And some people think he's corny, but yeah, it's like, oh, okay. Something I didn't know about AI was a great wall to bounce these ideas off of. I do it all the time. In fact,
Okay.
let me open up Bing GPT now and ask it something.
Man, stop selling big. Leave it alone, man. Boo.
Copilot's
You
Copilot's my favorite.
I see, man. Goodness, shit. We get a sponsorship.
Oh
Man,
goodness.
go call her up tomorrow. Let's get a sponsorship. Oh man. Anyway, man, Mr. Benja, this is yeah. So anyway, guys, we do the AI look in, so we'll do more of that. We haven't done the AI look in minutes, so I'm glad we did a little deep dive on that. Anything else going on, man? I think there's some interesting things going on
Well,
in the world right
with
now.
AI, what's funny is a lot of these people are starting to create bots. Back a little bit to our dead internet theory. So I don't know if you've done role playing games. There's a lot of live action role playing that goes on. I'm seeing a lot of digital action role playing, so DARPing instead of LARPing, and so people are online playing these games, GTA, Roblox, and all this stuff, and now they're starting to be run by bots, literal AI bots running around talking to people, and you think this is a real person you're playing with, but no, it's just a computer program running. I was thinking about that and I'm like, man, do we actually want people or just the idea of people? And it started getting me thinking about
Ooh,
influencers and stuff like that. Very interesting times we're in. You had talked about traditional celebrity culture and influencer culture taking over or whatever. It's all weird and wrapped up in this AI fake people thing to me. So I don't know. That's the only other thing that's been on my mind.
I love that, man. The ideal people.
Yeah. Do I
We're,
actually
are we in a post people movement? The post people era? 'Cause
do I
I
actually want
agree.
people?
Yeah, man, this is deep. Ooh. James, you gotta put that on there, man. Post are we in post people era? That's a good point, man. It's like these influencers, like we talked about this. My thing is I think we're not too far from influencers being AI bots in like less than 5 years, easily. Maybe the
Mhm.
next 2 years. Because if you got Kai Cenat, you got Mr. Beast, the algorithm can figure out what they're doing and just
Yeah.
replicate that pretty easily. We already know engagement increases engagement. And so they can create a bot that creates enragement, polarizing sides. Dude, they get that's it. It's a wrap, man. You do all these influencers, man, they're gone. But I digress. So that's the influencers. Right now, they're still top, but we'll see what happens. But I think the current celebrity culture, man, is on the downside, man. And what I mean by that, to me, that means like the traditional celebrities we grew up on, the Will Smiths, the Diddies, right? The
Mhm.
folks that we saw that were top of line doing movies, music, TV shows, right? We looked up to, and they would show do press releases and all that. I think it's just getting less and less important anymore. You can see that now. It's almost to a point where it's like I can see the people who are good, right? Like Denzel Washington, Lupita Nyong'o. Like there's some actors that are good at what they do, but they're just not as famous as they were. Does that make sense? It's like being an actor or actress, you just man, I see they're good at what they do, but it's are they famous anymore? For instance, I saw
Well, a lot of the
go ahead.
mystique is gone too.
Yeah, good point.
It's like they're
Because
right there, and we
do we even care? Look at network television. I can you there's a lot of actors on network television making good money, millions of dollars. People are watching it, but it's, do we care? It's back in the day,
yeah.
I got a network television show. If you're on a streaming show, even that, who cares unless it's a hit one, and that's few and far between. Matter of fact, Mr. Benja, I looked this up. You remember Batwoman? Remember we had Black Batman Week?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
he said it with such definiteness. You remember the young lady that was on that show, man? What's her name? Javicia Leslie. She took over from Ruby Rose in the second season of A Woman. Great character, awesome actress,
Mhm.
beautiful woman. But so the show got canceled. So she shows up on this other TV show. It's like a network television show as like the fourth lead. No one cares, but she's making money. So good for her. But it's just does it mean when you're an actor or actress anymore? Does that mean anything anymore? I think that's gonna be interesting. How many people do it for the love of just acting? And there's always gonna be those people that do that. But
Yeah.
to be famous, it's so much easier just be an influencer on TikTok or YouTube.
Yeah, okay. Kai Cenat runs a promotion, Mr. Beast runs a promotion, Ninja, a lot of these influencers, and you'll see crowds of people in the street. Zendaya might get a full Starbucks. I'm not tripping.
Woo!
I'm just saying.
Hey, Mr. Benja says, and they ain't shit.
Oh god. Oh god.
Come at him.
Tom, stay in your seat. We don't have to fight over this. But no, Zendaya, Tom Holland, I'm just looking Ariana Greenblatt, Timothy Chalamet, Millie Bobby Brown. I'm just looking at young celebrities here, a list of them that popped up. And yeah, there's not that same type of magnetic electricity that just magnetic electricity, write that down, that exists in the populace for these characters and for these people. But you do an influencer. I think there's something with the influencer that says, I'm going to connect with this person. They're going to maybe if I get a selfie with them, suddenly my Instagram reach goes out. I think there's a lot more of a visceral, real connection with influencers than with celebrities now.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a realness that goes along with that. I'm not saying that they're very good at what they do. The actors, they show, present, present. And so they always feel like they, get to know you and feel confident. But I agree, man. It's like the celebrity of what we grew up on is just not the same. And these young celebrities, I think they're struggling because they'll do a movie press release and do this show, do the traditional stuff, walk the red carpet, do the cute little Vanity Fair YouTube videos and all that. But it's just you get a $20 million opening at a movie, but does anybody really care? You
So
know?
your Twitch stream ain't popping.
Exactly. And then you have celebrities slipping because now you're seeing folks like Kevin Hart, Will Smith show up on the Twitch streams, sitting there looking lost. What are they doing on this Twitch swing? I don't even know anymore. Like similar, I'm showing my age here, but you remember back in the day, they would have game shows and all these big time celebrities and TV shows back in the day would show up on Hollywood Squares or
Yeah.
the 100,000 pyramid. They
Yeah.
were like celebrities, big time movie stars, TV show actors. Now they got relegated to doing game shows. And so it's almost like big time celebrities realize to stay relevant, they got to attach themselves to youth and the youth movement. But like I said, I think that time was going to be even shorter. The influencer market, I think, is going to be shorter than you think. But as of now, people are taking advantage of it. Just look at the candidates, Kamala Harris and Trump, what
Yeah.
they're doing. People complain that they're not doing the debate. They ain't got one debate. They're not doing town halls. They're not doing interviews with the big media. Because why? They're going on podcasts like Theo Vaughn's podcast. Trump showed up on that, right?
Yeah.
To talk to the bros. What's her name? Do you have her V-Sphere? He's like this big TikTok
No.
political influencer. He had 2 interviews with Kamala Harris. Not one, 2 interviews already with Kamala Harris. CBS and all of them got 0. What's
Yeah.
They're going to the TikTokers, the influencers, because they know, because I think V-Sphere has 3 million followers. So it's like, why do traditional media when you can just go to the TikTok folks? So
Yeah.
anyway, so it's just a new world.
And I gotta start listening to or peep some episodes of this All the Smoke podcast where Kamala Harris showed up. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. That's a sports podcaster, right? So I know those guys.
yeah,
Yeah, man, those guys. Yeah, Mike
because
Bumps
Kamala
and
Harris obviously watches a lot of NBA and NFL and wants to talk about it.
does she? Does
Mhm.
she? Yeah, politics, man. Politicians,
Yeah.
man. Anyway, man, this is good, man. Do we want to end it with some Diddler news, some Diddy news, or are we done?
No, but if you're in the Dallas, Texas area, you can find a Freak Off Friday party. Just look for the insanely stupid flyer and get free baby oil with the purchase of a section. Yeah. So your sparkler bottle girl will come to your section and she'll bring baby oil. Only in Dallas,
James,
Texas.
just look up free baby oil.
I'm done.
Yes, man. We don't need to talk about the diddler, but I think that's part of the whole thing about celebrity culture
Yeah.
degrading, right? If this person was able to operate at this level of debauchery for so long, it just shows you like, do we even trust these guys to this level anymore? And so it was all, and I think deep down, I think that's that trust thing that we talked about
Mhm.
before. We knew this stuff, but now it's bubbling up. It was like an open secret. It was not even, people weren't even trying to hide it that he had the after parties, the freak offs. And everybody was talking about, I leave early. I don't stay for a Diddy party. Everybody was talking about that for years. What did Denzel say? You leave 30 minutes before the devil shows up. So
Yeah.
it was an open secret. It was not like people didn't know.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. I don't want to get caught up in anything, but yeah, there's a whole under underground dark underbelly of this of most industry. So we'll see what happens.
Mr. Benja, I think we're gonna end it on a positive note. So
Oh,
we're not gonna talk about it, guys, but do your research. All right, guys. Look, we love talking to you guys. This has been great as always. Please subscribe and comment at Show versus Business on X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go check us out on our website, Show versus Business, see the latest and greatest information. Mr. Benja, have a great week.
peace, my friend.